This is Bloomberg. I'm David Weston. Well, Chair Janet Yellen of the Fed will be testifying today up in Capitol Hill. And now we're going to Kevin Cirilli up on the Hill with the man of the hour. Kevin.
Thanks, David. Yes, the man of the hour, House Financial Services Committee Chairman Jeb Hensarling. All right, we're just a couple of hours away from Fed Chair Janet Yellen's testimony. What are you going to be asking her?
Well, I hope that we are on some type of track for policy normalization, because keeping rates too low too long was a huge contributing factor to our last financial crisis. I want to make sure it's not a contributing factor to the next. So we've seen rates creep upward. I think that gives the Fed a little bit more room to operate with their open market operations. I think this is a good thing. But we also have a balance sheet that's huge. The Fed's footprint in our economy is so huge, and that's troublesome in the composition to have a lot of mortgage-backed securities. It's very worrisome to have a Fed that intervenes selectively in particular credit markets as opposed to a more holistic macroeconomic impact on our economy. So I want to ask her about what they are doing as far as winding down this balance sheet to get to a more normal policy rate and a more normal balance sheet.
And Mr. Chairman, this is something that you've pressed on for quite some time now in terms of trying to figure out a timeline for when this will all happen. The Federal Reserve has signaled that it will be by the end of the year, but how will you go about, I guess, pressing her for more of a concrete timeline?
Well, I ask the questions and I hope she answers. But, you know, quite seriously, we need a monetary policy that is still less opaque than the one we have. What we need is for the Federal Reserve to set out what is their policy, what is the rules that they use, what are the variables, how do those variables react to each other, because in some respects, I mean, I'm very happy to be being interviewed by you now, but there shouldn't be so much hanging upon the words of the Fed chairman. She herself has said that she hopes the wind down of the balance sheet essentially operates silently in the background. I would say all of monetary policy needs to be operating silently in the background, and that means people ought to be able to know what the Fed is going to do. It shouldn't be that the entire financial sector of America has to hang on every word of Chair Yellen, but unfortunately they do, and that's why these hearings are necessary, because there's not enough known about the monetary policy path of the Fed.
Also not a lot known about the future of Federal Reserve Chairwoman Janet Yellen herself. Have you heard anything about her job future?
No, I haven't. No. So, listen, that's the president's call. He's got a little while to make that call. I think, listen, I have a lot of respect for Chair Yellen. We don't agree on every single issue, but she's a very bright lady, a very capable public servant. But there's a lot of people who could serve well as Fed chair.
House Financial Services Committee Chairman Jeb Hensarling, we know you have a meeting to get to, so we'll let you get to it. But thank you very much for coming on Bloomberg, and we'll talk to you after the hearing.
Great.
Thank you. Back to you, David.
Kevin, thanks so much. That was terrific.